we're ranking the best shooting guard from every NBA team, and mainly focusing on starters and assuming that everyone's healthy. Now make sure you do check out my point guard ranking video if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss the ranking videos for all the other positions that are coming soon. Now let's get started. Number 30, the Thunder with Terrence Ferguson, who is just holding down that starting spot until Roberson returns. Number 29, the Pistons with Reggie Bullock. He's a decent role player, but wouldn't start for really any other team in the league. 28, the Raptors with Danny Green. Green's quietly been a big piece of what's made the Raptors starting five work. He's a great 3-and-D player and is shooting a career best 44% from 3 right now. 27, the Grizzlies with Garrett Temple. Meh. 26, the Cavs with Rodney Hood. The Utah Jazz version of Rodney Hood looked like he could turn out to be a solid scorer, but even now that the Cavs have no one, Hood still hasn't shown any amazing ability as a scorer. Number 25, the Hornets with Jeremy Lamb. He's a decent all-around player that's got the potential to get you 20 on any given night. This has been his first year as a full-time starter, and he's doing a pretty good job so far, but nothing spectacular because he's still only playing 24 minutes a game. Number 24, the Bucks with Malcolm Brogdon. Usually this spot would go to Chris Middleton, but since he's playing small forward this year, it goes to Brogdon, the former Rookie of the Year. Let's be honest, that's just strange to think about now. But since his rookie season, Brogdon's been a solid role player for the Bucks that's shown some decent improvement in his game every season. Number 23, the Magic with Evan Fournier. Even though the man's going bald at 26, Fournier is a great underrated scorer for the Magic. He is shooting career lows this season, but still averaging just about 16 a game. For a guy that's not crazy athletic, he's crafty around the rim and is great at getting his points by coming off of screens and finding open looks. 22, the Mavericks with Wes Matthews. Wes Matthews is another 3-and-D type of player. He had his most popular years on the Blazers and hasn't made much noise across the league since joining the Mavericks, especially after his efficiency dropped in recent years. But so far this year, he's back to looking like his old Portland Trailblazers self. 21, the Celtics with Jaylen Brown. Brown's off to a bad start offensively so far this season, and that seemed to be a theme with a lot of Celtics players this year. Right now, he is only averaging 10 points a game on 36% shooting and 27% from 3, but we saw just how much potential he had in the playoffs last year, when he came up huge on defense and put up 18 a game. So if he wasn't on such a stacked team and was given the chance to play like that again, he'd definitely rank a lot higher. Number 20, the Lakers with Brandon Ingram. Ingram's not traditionally a shooting guard and doesn't play like one, but technically that's the role he's been playing for the Lakers so far this season. Now some people might have been expecting him to be ranked higher, but the truth is there's a lot of great shooting guards in the league, and Ingram hasn't made much progress yet to the potential that everyone believes he has. Number 19, the Hawks with Kent Bazemore. Bazemore's never been a guy to put up great stats, but he's one of the best two-way guards in the NBA. He's on pace for the best season of his career so far, being just as effective on defense and putting up a career high near 15 points a game right now. And he's in the middle of his prime, so I'm surprised that this young Hawks team hasn't tried to trade him for some younger pieces for their team. 18, the Nuggets with Gary Harris. Harris has turned out to be a great young player for Denver. He was drafted 19th overall in 2014 and is having his second straight season putting up 17 a game. And he's turned out better than a lot of people thought he would. I don't know if I can ever see him developing into a superstar player or anything, but he fits great on this Nuggets team as one of their best two-way players. 17, the Timberwolves with Andrew Wiggins. I think by now everyone's on board with the fact that Wiggins has been overrated. He is shooting a career best 41% from 3, looking slightly better on defense, and averaging 17 a game right now. And it's good that he's made those improvements, but it's his 5th year in the league, so he should be a lot better by now. But now that Jimmy Butler's gone, we'll get to see if he gets back on the right track. 16, the Kings with Buddy Hield. This is Hield's first year that he's going to be a full-time starter, and he's shown up to the occasion. He's made the jump from averaging 13 a game last year to now 18 a game so far this year. And not to mention he's putting up career highs in every other category. I think Buddy Hield has the potential to keep developing into a Bradley Beal or Chris Middleton type player down the line, and maybe even be slightly better because he's already a much better shooter than both of those guys. 15, the 76ers with JJ Redick. Markelle Fultz was Philly's starting shooting guard to start this season, but after the Butler trade, it looks like Redick's gonna be keeping that spot, and it's the move that makes the most sense. After trading Sarge and Covington, they're gonna need Redick to stretch the floor. And it's really not normal for someone to have their best years of their career at 34 years old, but that's what Redick's doing. And that's because Philly's using him perfectly. They run a good amount of plays for him and give him the option to either shoot the ball or make a play of his own. And that's what's helped him average over 18 a game so far. 14. The Nets with Caris LeVert. Like I said, we're gonna assume everyone's healthy. So before LeVert went out with an injury, he was having the best year of his young career and starting to look like the Nets' next breakout player. And luckily for LeVert, he might be able to return this season and start things back right where he left off. Number 13, the Heat with Josh Richardson. Richardson's come out of nowhere this season and has started putting up 20 a night, and every once in a while will give you 30 on a night, which is a great sign for him looking forward. He's only 24, so he's got the potential to keep developing over the next couple of years. And if he can put up those near 30-point games more consistently, we could see him becoming an all-star pretty soon. But as for now, he's just got to keep doing what he's doing for the Heat. Number 12, the Blazers with CJ McCollum. It's safe to say that we've seen as much as we're gonna see from CJ. He's a solid scorer that can easily give you 20 a game, but not much more than that. He had his best year in the 2016 and 17 season, where he averaged 23 a game, but since then hasn't developed. Lillard's needed him to step up for years, but as we can tell, that hasn't happened. So I'm shocked that by this point, they still haven't traded him and tried to shake their team up. 11. Tim Hardaway Jr. Hardaway's done a great job of coming out this season and being the Knicks' leader while Porzingis has been out. He's putting up a career-high 23 points a game right now, and I think he can keep this pace up even when Kristaps returns. He needs to work on getting more consistent as a player and work on his three-point shot, and then the man will be set. He has only played on bad teams though, so I'd like to see what he could actually do on a good team. Number 10. The Clippers with Lou Williams. Now I said only starters for this video, but we had to make an exception for Lou Williams. He's picking up right now where he left off last season and is averaging just about 20 a game. And he's helped the Clippers surprise a lot of people and actually be a pretty solid team this year. Number 9, the Jazz with Donovan Mitchell. Now we're getting into the top tier shooting guards in the league. Last year, Donovan proved just how bright of a future he has in this league by coming out as one of the biggest surprises of the season, winning the dunk contest and leading the Jazz past Russell Westbrook and Paul George in the playoffs. And he's still playing at that high level this season. I wanted to rank him higher, and I'm sure there's some people that would have expected to see him higher, but it's still only his second season in the league, so these next few guys that are ranked ahead of him could change down the line. Number 8, the Wizards with Bradley Beal. So like I said, when it's all said and done, I think Donovan Mitchell is going to turn out to be a better player than Bradley Beal has been. But for right now, Beal's still the slightly better player. In 2016, he went from averaging 17 a game that year to 23 a game the next season. And I thought that was the start of him developing into a star player. Now he did make the All-Star team last year, but since 2016, his game hasn't really developed, which has put the Wizards in a similar situation to the Blazers. Now I'm not sure if I could ever see Beal putting up more than 25 a game consistently, but he is still only 25 years old, which gives him a lot of time left to develop. Number 7, the Pelicans with Drew Holiday. Drew's in his prime right now, and he's having some of the best seasons of his career. He's averaging 19 points and 9 assists a game, which is part of the reason he ranks this high. But the other part is because of his defense. He's one of the few shooting guards in the league that's just as good on defense as he is on offense. And we saw just how clear that was last season in the playoffs. He's still one of the league's more underrated players, but without a doubt a top shooting guard in the league. Number 6, the Suns with Devin Booker. Now one day Phoenix is going to stop being one of the worst teams in the league, and we'll get to see how good Devin Booker is on a winning team. But as for now, he's coming off of last season where he averaged just about 25 a game, to now so far this year putting up 23, 6, and 3. He's not the greatest defender, but he does a great job at leading his team in scoring. And now that he's teamed up with DeAndre Ayton, it's only going to make things easier for him and turn him into a better player. Number 5, the Bulls with Zach LaVine. LaVine's cooled off a bit since the start of the season, but right now the man's still averaging 25, 5, and 4. and at this point I would still say he's a lock for the All-Star team and the Most Improved Player award. Hopefully he doesn't cool off anymore though, and he can keep this pace up, especially when the Bulls are completely healthy. Number 4, the Spurs with DeMar DeRozan. Now, at first, I thought that DeRozan was going to rank at the number 3 or maybe even the number 2 spot. I mean, he's come out this year and put up 25, 6, and 6 so far. He's putting up big numbers, but still isn't a good 3-point shooter by any means. Averaging 17% from 3 right now. And himself and Aldridge haven't led the Spurs to the best start, with them sitting at about 500 right now. But then again, they can't take too much blame for that considering the bad roster. Number 3, the Warriors with Klay Thompson. A while back it was a conversation of who was the best shooting guard in the league between Klay Thompson and James Harden. Now while Harden's definitely won that race now, and Klay's slightly falling back on the shooting guard rankings because of the stacked Warriors, he's still just as good. And even considering his role on the team, he's still putting up 21 a game this season, and I would say he's still the best two-way guard in the league. And it's crazy that with his role as the 3rd or even 4th option on the Warriors, he's still able to average at least 20 a game. Number 2, the Pacers with Victor Oladipo. Now since going from a good player to a star player, Oladipo's come out and shown that he's a lot more than just a great player, because he's also a great leader that makes all of his teammates better. He was traded for Paul George a couple seasons back and led a worse team to a better record the next season, and he's continuing to do the same this year, giving the Pacers the 3rd best record in the East right now. He's averaging 22, 6, and 5, but he does a lot more on the court than those stats show, and there's no doubt that that team wouldn't be anywhere near the playoffs without him. Number 1, the Rockets with James Harden. Alright, there's no doubt or argument against the fact that the reigning MVP is the best shooting guard in the league, even without defense. So there's my rankings. Don't forget to comment down below and let me know what you think about the list. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next video.